I've coached, as I said, over 7,000 people in the last 20 years. And many of my clients have been lawyers who have sought out other things to do after they've practiced for a while. Some a couple of years, some many years. And the things, I sat down and started to make a list of different kinds of careers that they've sought after they've practiced law. And I helped them land in these positions. So some became entrepreneurs, others business people of structured companies. Some were mature companies, others were in growth mode. A few of them have gone into startups. Some of my clients became real estate brokers and developers, and the development has mostly been about developing housing and commercial properties that are sustainable. Some have gone into, one has gone into global travel and is on the A-list for American Express. Others have become charter school teachers. Some have become traders at investment banks. One has become quite a famous hotel concierge for an iconic global brand. Others are consultants, like from McKinsey. Some have become professors teaching business law in undergraduate, racehorse ownership in continuing ed, others in graduate school government. Some have become judges. Others are in human resources, employment law. One has become a support practice litigator who manages 2 different practice areas at a global law firm. Others have become authors, and some are bankers.
So it sounds like these people found more gratification from these careers than their strictly legal career.
Well, they went into these careers because these things tapped into other areas of their lives as well, and gave them, I think, more freedom of expression and freedom to work at a different environment that was in some ways more supportive and in other ways not supportive at all.
But it did help them find more joy?
Yes, absolutely.
So an example of a real estate broker, obviously their legal background would be a help, and they just found they enjoyed the skills and rewards of being a real estate broker a little bit more than the law?
Well, the brokers, some of them have gone back and gotten, full educations in real estate law, like at NYU, and others have just used their law license to become brokers. Some have gone into imaging design for apartments that are vacant. They range from mid-range to very, very, very high range in their properties, and they love the idea that they are, first of all, free to be their own boss, or to work on a small team where they work for and are led by a particular broker and work under his license. They are creative people. They are friendly. They like to solve problems. They like to be, as I said, their own leaders in a way. They have a lot of initiation and also physical endurance.
And some of these things you can transition to gradually. You could, with a law license, you could work as a real estate broker, on weekends and see how you like that. You could, try to work in some kind of startup business part-time or as a temporary project and see how you like it.
Well, what you're doing is describing how I started my business 20 years ago. When I first started practicing law, I met someone at the Bar Association who recommended me to the Lawyers in Transition Committee. And from then on, I became a member of that committee. And for about 9 years, I did pro bono coaching of attorneys who were disenfranchised. And I helped them figure out what to do with their practice and how to do it, and whether to leave or not leave or change a practice area. And finally, it dawned on me that I should be doing that full time.
And someone who wanted to become a real estate broker could use their law or real estate background to give a seminar for real estate brokers about legal issues or things along that line.
Exactly right.
And it's a way of networking and selling themselves.
You need to push yourself in a very friendly, benign, but assertive way into whatever profession it is that you're interested in, and get to know as many successful people in that profession as you possibly can. And what I call, what I just described that I did, I was straddling both my law practice, first when I was at LaBeouf, then at FIT, and I was also running these programs for the Lawyers in Transition Committee and seeing lawyers individually, all pro bono, all over the city.
And you were helping these other people to prevent problems or to solve problems, which is probably what an employer wants and needs in any employee.
That's exactly right.
And you mentioned charter schools. I know that many school systems will give you a bump up because of the JD degree.
Yes. And in fact, in some of those schools, you can end up being the administrator, the principal, the coordinator. You can run them, okay? There are courses that they offer to people, and it's more likely that someone with our education would be selected to be the leader. Because
the law is involved in everything these days, especially a complex system like a school.
That's exactly right. And there's one other thing that I wanted to offer when we're talking about this idea of leaving. Many times what you hear is a lawyer will say, I'm a recovering lawyer. I recommend that people not do that anymore, because this is something that you have spent years getting a license in, an education, and you've worked. And so when you say something negative about something that you've been doing for a long time, it doesn't reflect well on you, and it doesn't make the person that you might want to hire you think, well, this is a positive person who makes the best of every situation they're in. That's why I should hire them. People want to think that you're coming to them, not leaving something bad in your life.
And I've heard of lawyers becoming yoga instructors or starting up a yoga studio, but you could become the instructor while you're still a lawyer by, let's say, day, and then if you feel so inclined, that could become your business later on. And you could also just be the business person who owns the yoga studio. Or the ice cream shop. Or whatever, okay? What are some other ways to find people, find something that will bring them joy? Well, what is it that you do in your free time all the time? What is it that you're attracted to? Or would do if you had the free time. Well, yes, but if you have 5 minutes, what is it that you do? I remember when I was working as an attorney for LaBeouf, every Sunday morning I would get up very, very early and just to see the real estate section in the New York Times, because I loved seeing the articles about what was available, how they decorated it, what was, what trends were going on, and how the interiors are being done. I found all that fascinating. And I know if I weren't loving what I'm doing now, I'd be doing that. So instead, I do it in my own apartment all the time. And a lawyer is usually a skilled writer and can research the law or facts, so they could even start out writing about something. That's exactly right. And these days, people can have a blog. Or, as we mentioned earlier, give a seminar. The thresholds of these things have become much less. Okay, so I've had numerous clients that are practicing attorneys and have started blogs and started giving talks, and they've become very successful. And this is a way to take baby steps to see if you're interested in something else, and if you can find people or organizations that are interested in you. That's exactly right. Just give us your website again with some helpful additional information for our audience. Okay. Well, it's alexandraduran.com, AlexandraDuran.com, and I am the president and CEO of Duran Consulting. And people can always find other people that are, this is not a unique desire. People can find out that people can meet with other people that are interested in taking this journey. They can find other people who've taken this journey, and That's people right. who are willing to help them. That's right. Any other thoughts that you have? We have a moment or two left in our program. Well, I want you to have a lot of enthusiasm when you do this, because what you will find is as you begin to jump the fence, each step that you take
it emboldens you, and you start to feel better about who you are, and you get more of your self-confidence back. And each time that you do that, you have a better interaction with the next person that you meet. And you start to find yourself actually enjoying the search itself. Because all the hours that you worked in the office where you didn't get out much and couldn't have much of a social life, this is actually a tremendous way to have a very positive social life. And
in that office, you may not have enjoyed all those hours.
That's exactly right.
And you don't need one alternative career, but you can, have an order of your first and second, what you think now, which can be, ever-changing.
Ever-changing. Because I promise you that once you make the first big leap, then what happens is you see that you have the capacity to do this, and you will do it more and more, and it will be easier and easier for you.
And for some people, it may educate you so you don't feel like you want to change at all. So you'll be happier going to your law job.
I had a client once that kept saying to me, they want me to do trials. I said, really? You've been there for 8 years, and has anybody ever asked you to be the second seat at a trial? And she said, no. I said, well, why do you think that is? She said, because I am a great brief writer. I said, well, why don't we negotiate something with them where you will always be the brief writer and you won't have to go into court. And that won't be hanging over your head anymore, and you'll really enjoy the job better. And
rather than leaving it unsaid. Just give us your websites again, Andrea.
It's AlexandraDuran.com.
And I just want to mention to our listeners, if you've missed any portion of this program or another one that our guest did on returning to a legal career, just Google WHPC, search WHPC on iTunes so you can pick up the free podcast. You've been listening to Law You Should Know here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nass Community College, and also over the internet at ncc.edu/WHPC. And if you missed any portion of the program, you can find it by searching WHPC on iTunes. And please join us this same time next week for another program on Law You Should Know.